No, I'm not getting married right now. How could I? Wine snapped, her voice firm with frustration. I'm literally in my third year of university. Isn't my plan. Not now, and definitely not with a stranger. Her parents exchanged a quiet look with her mother spoke softly. He's a good family, sweetie. Can't you just meet him once? Her father added, we have always let you make your own decision. Just this once, please do this for us. The pressure in their voice wasn't loud, but it was deep, cutting, emotional. Blackmail, Wine realized, and that wasn't the final straw. She stood up, fire in her eyes. Fine, do whatever you want, but I'm not getting married. And certainly not to someone I don't even know. Her mother's voice cut through the tension. Do you have anyone else? The question left Wine frozen. Her lips parted, but no words come. No, she didn't, and her father knew it. I know you don't, he said gently. All I am asking that you talk to him. Just once. He is my friend's son, and I believe you'll like him. Wine let out a dry bitter laugh. In your dreams, I'm going to reject him. Because I'm not marrying him. Her father sighed, then said, just meet him this evening. Talk after that, whatever you decide, we'll respect it. Wine didn't respond. She was too angry to wobble him. Without a word, she stormed out of the house. The afternoon sun bathed on the campus in a golden glow, as Wines with her best friend working on the campus, trying to calm her whirlwind of emotions from this morning storm at home. I can't believe your parents are rushing you into marriage like that, her best friend said, eyes wide with disbelief. One sigh. I told them clearly I'm not ready. How can I marry someone I don't even know? Her best friend gave her a look, half sarcastic, half sincere. Well, technically, you could just meet the guy. What if he's like insanely handsome? What if you actually do fall for him? One rolled her eyes. He's still a stranger. Before her friend could respond, someone walked past them, and everything stopped. Both girls fell silent, frozen mid conversation, as a tall, striking guy strolled by with slow, confident step. His sharp jawline caught the sunlight, his dark tossed hair perfectly messy, his broad shoulders scratching the fabric of his black shirt. He looked effortlessly powerful, calm, untouchably cool. One's breath caught. Her heart shuddered. His doe eyes, softly yet unreadable, glanced briefly in their direction before he continued on, hands in his pocket, like he didn't even realize the effect he left in his wake. Beside her, Wine's best friend whispered in awe, wow, he's so handsome. Wine didn't speak, he couldn't. Her eyes followed his every step like she was in trance. Then slowly, still half frozen, she turned her head towards her friend, blinked 3 times, and said under her breath, who is that man? Greek got much. A second passed. He's actually so handsome. I think I just gave my heart to him at first sight, she whispered. Her best friend grinned. Then go talk to him. What if he's single? What? No, what I even say? One blurted, suddenly panicked. Just be your charming self, her friend encouraged. Flirt a little, laugh a little. Who knows if you click with him? Maybe you can actually escape this arranged marriage nightmare. One stared at her, then at the guy's retreating figure in the distance. She shallowed heart. You are right, she finally said. If I fall for someone else, my parents will have to back off. Her best friend winked. Exactly, and if I weren't taken already taken, I had definitely go to him. But lucky for you, I'm passing this Greek god mission to you. Wine exhaled slowly and stood up, heart 13 in her chest. Okay, prepare operation future husband start now. Her best friend laughed and gave her a playful push. Go get him, tiger. With a nervous breath and a spark of determination in her eyes, Wine turned on her heels and started walking towards him. With her heart fluttering and nerves buzzing like a thousand butterflies, Wine stepped closer to the tall guy who just walked past her. He is now standing near the boardroom, casually typing something on his phone, completely unaware that he was just left a girl stunned by his very existence. Wine bit her lower lips, adjusting her bat on her shoulder, and whispered to herself, "You have got this. Just be confident. Just flirt." She cleared her throat lightly, stepped forward, and patted him gently on the back. The guy, still calm unbothered, lifted his head and slowly turned around. And then those eyes, up close, he looked even better, and his hair slightly curled around his forehead. His gaze was unreadable, cold, calm, distance. One smirk leaned slightly forward and said with a soft flirt in her tone, "Hey handsome, new here? I could show you around, or just around me." For a moment Jungkook simply stared at her, expressionless. Then he raised one perfect brow, let out a small sigh. He replied coolly, "No thanks, I know my way." With those words, sharp as eyes, he walked past her. One stood there, blinking in pure shock. Her jaw dropped slightly. Did he just reject me? On my face? She turned around and frowned. "Me, I'm literally gorgeous. Who in the world reject me like that?" Determined not to give up, she ran up behind him, brushing aside her bruised pride. "Hey, wait, are you actually new here?" Jungkook paused, without looking at her. "Yes." One, trying to play it cool again, gave a light-hearted chuckle. "Then you'll definitely need my help. Come on, I can show you around. You are so handsome. You shouldn't be walking around alone like this. Let me help you find your class." Before she could finish, Jungkook turned sharply, but one didn't expect this sudden movement, and ended up bumping right into his chest hard. "Ouch!" she gasped, clutching her forehead where it hit his firm chest. She looked up slowly. Jungkook's voice came low and cold. "You should go find your class, and don't bother with me." And that he walked away again. One stood there, absolutely mortified. What just happened? She blinked, still progressing his word, her lips slightly parted in disbelief. "He didn't just ignore me, he dismissed me. Twice." She spun around and saw her best friend a few feet away, giggling uncontrollably, trying to hold in her laughter. One stormed forward toward her, frustration all over her face. "That cold stone rejected me on my face," she huffed, crossing her arms. "How could he just ignore my beauty like that? Am I invisible?" Her best friend was still laughing. Honestly, that was painful to watch. "That hilarious. You literally hit your head on his chest." One gone. "Ah, I hate him and his face and his eyes and ah, why is so good looking." Her best friend smirked. "You should definitely try again. No one resists you twice. Unless he's like emotionally cold." One narrowed her eyes. "He is emotionally cold, stone hard." "Cold stone handsome," her best friend teased. One rolled her eyes and cracked a tiny smile. "Anyway, we are late for class." "Yup, let's go." Together they head off, but one couldn't stop thinking about him. The boy who looked like a dream but acted like a ghost. She muttered under her breath, "Operation Future Husband is not going to be easy." In the classroom, Wan and her best friend sat on the bench, chatting more than focusing on class. They were actually planning how to reject the marriage proposal arranged by Wan's parents. Suddenly, the door opened, and the new professor stepped inside. The entire room went silent, and all the students gasped in disbelief. Who was this handsome man who just entered? The girls were drooling over him. Some admired him openly, while others couldn't take their eyes off him. But one's gaze was fixed on him with deep thought, wondering, what is he doing here? Is he the new guy in the classroom? She didn't know what to say or do since she had just met him earlier. Then Jungkook broke the silence and said, "Good morning, students. I'm your new professor for this course." Hearing this, one felt the ground slip from underneath her. She sniffed and frozen, filled with regret over everything that happened. She didn't know what to say or do. She had just suffered a huge shock, as if experiencing second-hand embarrassment all over again. Beside her, her best friend's mouth hung open in shock as well. She was stunned because the very man they had been planning to flirt with was now their young, handsome new professor. Her best friend nudged the frozen wine on the elbow. Startled, one slowly looked at her best friend and whispered, "I messed up." Those words barely escaped her lips as she cried internally, mirroring her life's decision. Then Jungkook said, "Your older professor resigned. That's why I'm here. I hope you are all okay with this. Your previous professor already told me about all of your introductions, so I guess we can start." His voice was cold and strict, carrying power and commanding aura. Meanwhile, one sat on her chair, putting some of her hair in front of her face, almost lowering over from embarrassment. Suddenly, Jungkook called out, "Miss Wan." Startled, she quickly stood and slowly said, "Yes, sir." Jungkook smirked slightly and asked, "Would you like to tell me how many chapters Mr. Lee finished in his course?" Wine shuddered, forgetting everything, though she actually knew how many chapters Mr. Lee had taught. The shock of seeing Jungkook's face and everything that had happened made her mind go blank. She stammered, unsure what to say. Jungkook sighed and asked, "Don't you know how many chapters he taught? Or did you forget?" One immediately shook her head and said, "No, no, no, I know, I remember." Jungkook then said, "Then please tell me." After a moment, one shakily told the chapters. Jungkook sighed again and said, "Sit down." One sat down and sighed in relief. She then whispered slowly to her best friend, "I messed up so badly earlier, thinking about everything that just happened." Finally, she looked up at Jungkook, who had just begun teaching with a cold, commanding aura, filled with strictness. It was now evening. One stood in front of the mirror, returningly getting ready. She didn't want to attend the dinner, not tonight, not ever. The thought of meeting that stranger, her so-called arranged husband, made her stomach crunch. For her, this was nothing more than a loveless marriage, a loveless bond with someone she didn't even know. She longed to marry for love, not obligation. How could her parents expect her to spend her entire life with someone she hadn't even met? But tonight she had a plan. She would do everything to ensure that guy rejected her. She would be rude, distant, and completely unlikable. She had even tell him a story that she had already had someone in her life, a love so deep they had promised to grow old together. She was fully prepared, emotionally armed to make herself undesirable. Now dressed and determined, Wine and her parents entered the restaurant. Her eyes nervously scanned the place. Then they spot another couple seated near the corner table, Mr. and Mrs. June. Her father called out with enthusiasm. Mr. June stood up and a wide smile on his face. "Ah, long time no see, buddy." The two men hugged warmly, laughing like old friends. Both families exchanged greetings before sitting down on the table. Mr. Jones said cheerfully, "My son is also coming. He'll be here in just a few minutes." One instantly went quiet. "Okay, breathe, don't panic." She mentally rehearsed the speech she had prepared. "I'm sorry, but I already have someone. We promised to never let go of each other. I hope you understand. I can't marry a stranger." She had topped it off with a rude attitude to make sure he had walked away fast. But then, there he is! Mr. Jeon suddenly exclaimed with delight, looking behind Wayne. That's my son. Wayne froze. Slowly she turned around, and then she saw him. Her breath caught. No, no way. Her heart dropped. Her mind screamed. The man walking towards the table was the same guy she had flirted with earlier in the university, the same guy who had walked into her classroom as the new professor, the same man who had made her feel every ounce of regret that afternoon. And now that man, Jungkook, was her arranged husband. Seriously? Jungkook walked with the same calm stride, his presence commanding and cold as ever. He took the seat directly across from Wyan. His eyes briefly met hers with a small, knowing smirk tucked on his lips. He knew everything, and Wyan sat there, stunned, staring at her lap while zoning out completely. What is happening to my life? She thought. Is this a nightmare or reality? As the two families began chatting casually. One barely heard anything. She was still progressing the cruel twist of fate. Suddenly Mrs. Jeon looked at her with a kind smile. Why are you so quiet, child? Say something. How are you? One blink, snapping out of her trance. I'm fine, auntie, she replied nervously. Mr. Jeon nodded and asked, how's your study going? But before one could answer, Jungkook cut in smoothly. She's doing well. He leaned back, slightly glancing at her with a teasing glint. These days, many girls in university are more interested in flirting with boys, and even professor. But she's quite focused on her studies. I can see that. His voice was coated with sarcasm, his smirk unmistakable. One's eyes widening in shock. What did he just say? She sniffed, her face heating up, but she forced a small note and repeated, I'm fine, uncle. Then Mr. Kim chuckled. Oh, I forgot. You both attend the same university, don't you? Jungkook is a new transfer professor. Did you two meet already? Wine instantly shook her head. No, we didn't. Across from her, Jungkook was still watching her every move, her awkwardness, her panic expression. He remained calm, offering no reaction. After a few seconds, Jungkook finally added, smoothly, no, we haven't met. One sigh in relief. Then Mr. Jeon leaned forward. Why don't you two talk alone for a while? Yes, go get to know each other, her mother encouraged gently. Take a walk, talk a bit. Wine froze. No, not this. Anything but this. Her eyes met Jungkook's for a split of a second, but he was still as composed as ever. With a simple nod, he agreed. Sure. Wine didn't say a word. They both stood up quietly and walked away from the table towards the terrace area. Then they stepped out onto the terrace. One quickly turned around and said in a flurry, I'm sorry. Really sorry. I didn't know who you were. I thought you were just a new guy. That's why I tried to talk to you and be friends. I didn't know you were the professor. Jungkook raised an eyebrow teasingly. Tried to be friends? It didn't seem like that, he said, his tone playful. One flushed with second-hand embarrassment, her voice shaky, and she replied, yeah, I just want to be friends with you. That's all. A few quiet moments passed between them. Then one nervously broke the silence. Are you okay with this marriage? Jungkook answered casually. Yeah, she looked at him again, uncertain. So you are really ready to marry me? He shrugged lightly. Then why do you think I come here? Wine stayed silent, unsure how to respond. Jungkook tilted his head, a small smirk forming. Don't you want to marry me now? No, it's not like that. One stammer. It's just suddenly Jungkook stepped closer. Really close. One's back hit the railing. His arms come up, caging her on both sides. His tall frame towering over her, making her look small in comparison. In a low, husky voice, cold yet teasing, he said, "You are so eager to be friends with me. But now you are nervous. Why? Am I not handsome anymore?" "No, no, you are handsome." One blurted out, and immediately realized what she had just admitted. She looked away, flustered. "I mean, it's not like that," she added with a nervous smile. Jungkook leaned back a little. "Let's get to know each other," he said calmly. While looked up at him. After some time later, she slowly nodding. "Okay." She hesitated, then added, "You don't have any problem marrying me?" "I mean, I tried to flirt with you earlier and I didn't know who you were," Jungkook replied with a small chuckle. "If I had a problem with your flirting, I wouldn't have come here in the first place." Her eyes widened. "Wait, you knew everything? That I was the girl arranged for you?" He nodded, calm and composed. "Yes, I already saw your picture. I knew about you." One blink, stunned. "Then why are you so quiet and casual about it?" Jungkook didn't answer right away. Instead, he just looked at her, like he was admiring her expression. Each flicker of nervousness, surprise, and confusion. Then he spoke softly but clearly. "I really don't have any problem with this marriage, and when I first saw you, I kind of liked you. Your expression, the way you talked, your cheerful nature, your nervousness, your embarrassment, the way your cheeks turned red when you saw me as a professor." He paused. For a second, his gaze warmed. "I liked all of it. I could tell you weren't fully ready for this marriage. And that's okay. So why don't we just get to know each other first?" One stared at him, stunned that he could read her emotions so well, like he already knew what she felt, even before she could say it. After a few moments, she nodded slowly. "Okay, it's good to get to know each other." Jungkook gave a small nod in agreement. Time skip. 4 months later. Time passed quickly. They began seeing each other often at university. After classes, they'd go out together, short walks, long talks, quiet dinners, nervous laughter, shared secrets. And now, 4 months later, they stood across from each other at the altar. One in her beautiful wedding gown, Jungkook in a crisp black suit. They looked into each other's eyes, the smile on their face saying it all. One's heart was full. She had found her true love. Her first crush turned husband. The man she once thought was just handsome turned out to have a kind, gentle soul hidden beneath his cold exterior. And that side it was just for her. Jungkook too was glowing with a quiet happiness. From the very beginning he saw her, he had drawn in by her nervous stammer, her cheerful voice, her flushed cheek, her very glare when he passed her by, her innocence, her charm. 4 months of memories, late night walks, shy confession, warm hugs, and now forever the priest smile. "Now you may kiss the bride." Jungkook stepped forward, slowly closing the distance. One's breath hissed, nervous again, just like always. And Jungkook loved that about her. He leaned in. Their first kiss, soft, deep, and full of emotion. Once closed her eyes, a kiss that sealed their journey from stranger to soulmates. Applause filled the room, echoing around them. Jungkook gently pulled her closer, deepening the kiss for just a second longer, then finally pulled back with a soft smile. One smiled too, her cheek flushed. That kiss was their bow, their beginning to husband and wife. The cold night breeze brushed softly against Wine's skin as she stood quietly on the balcony, lost in her thoughts. The distant city lights shimmered, but her mind was somewhere far away, wrapped in memories and feelings she couldn't quite name. Suddenly, a pair of strong arms wrapped gently around her waist from behind. She flinched at first, but the familiar warmth made her relax almost instantly. Jungkook rested his chin on her shoulder, his breath warm against the curve of her neck. A shiver ran down her spine, but it wasn't from the cold. In a deep, husky voice, he whispered, "What's my wifey thinking about so deeply?" One sighed, her lips curling into a soft smile. "Time passed so quickly," she mumbled. "We just met, and I thought you were some new guy in college, and I tried to flirt with you." She laughed quietly at the memory. "And now you are here, my husband. It feels like a roller coaster." Jungkook let out a chuckle and pressed a gentle kiss to her cheek from behind. Wan's eyes fluttered close, sinking into the moment. He slowly turned her around to face him, cupping her face in his palm, thumb stroking her cheek tenderly. "So, my little student wifey," he said with a playful smirk, eyes filled with warmth, "are you ready to start our journey together?" Wine opened her eyes, bright and full of love, and gave a shy, happy note. Jungkook smiled, then leaned in and softly kissed her forehead. Their eyes met for a heartbeat. Then their lips met. Gentle at first, a kiss filled with emotion, with depth, with love. He pulled her closer, his arms wrapping around her tightly, deepening the kiss, and in that quiet night, surrounded by stars and dreams, their hearts spoke, the beginning of forever.